So hey guys, welcome to another training session. Yet today I want to do a half educational, practical video, so to speak, because I want to talk about something we all suffer from right now, and that is of course the coronavirus, and more exactly that all the gyms are closed around the world. So if you have a home gym or sort of a place to work out, and you want to perform certain lifts, it can be quite tough to really cover all your exercises if you are not in a proper gym. And there are basically two lifts that are very hard to perform if you do not have access to a gym, if you don't have a squatting rack, for example. And therefore the squat is a compound movement that is very hard to replicate at home, simply because most of us don't have a squat cage or the money for a squat cage, or even for a normal squat rack. So doing front squats or back squats are quite hard to do actually, because what happens if you don't have a squat rack and there are no safety bars and you collapse under the weight? That can be quite dangerous. And the same thing goes for the front squat. If you don't have anything to rack the weight on, well, how do you want to put it back down slowly on the ground? If it's like 130 kg, 150 kg, it's quite impossible to simply grab it, hold it there with your biceps and let it down slowly, and you might injure yourself in the progress or in the process. So we need to come up with another solution. And the solution that there is basically a combination of a snatch and an overhead squat. Because what you can do is use a lighter weight than you would normally use for your back squats. Use a much lighter weight, snatch the weight up as good as you can, and then basically go up with the weight as you would do in a normal back or front squat. And the reason this one is much safer is simply because you need to use less weight than for a normal back squat or a front squat, simply because snatching the weight is hard enough. And if you then go up with the weight with your hands or your arms extended like this, the weight pulls you down even more because it has more leverage than if you simply put it on your back or here on your chest, right? So in this case you don't need a squat rack, and in this case it's very easy to get rid of the weight once you find out that you cannot complete the movement because you're getting tired. Then you simply go down and drop the weight slowly in front of you, right? So if you come down with the weight, you drop it down like this, or you put it back down slowly on the ground like this, which is of course not possible once the weight is behind your back, and once it is too heavy to simply push it back up then and over your head. And the same goes for the front squat, as I already mentioned. So this is a very, very good exercise that you can really do at home, and that has almost the same benefits as a normal squat, plus some arm training included. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so I go there into a normal snatch position. I could use a wider grip, a snatch grip, but I'm not doing it because I'm not a professional weightlifter by any means, and I'm not so good at snatching. So therefore I use my whole manpower to get it up there like this, and then it's up here, and I'll go up like that, down like that, and so on and so forth. So let me complete this set of 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You see, it's a bit risky, but not as risky as doing normal squat with a whole bunch of weight on the bar. Oh, much better version for you at home. And don't be surprised if you don't need that much weight. This is now only 30 kg, guys. So, if I normally go for a couple of sets and do my normal back squats, I'm using about right now, well, 70 to 80 kg. So this is less than half of the weight I normally use. And if I go for 1 rep max, it's basically the same as my 1 rep max deadlift, which is about 140 right now, if you've seen my video from yesterday, where I had a deadlift session. And as you can tell by my breathing, this is hard. That's really good cardiovascular work as well. And bench pressing is not so hard to do at home. I mean, you do not even have to buy a whole bench like that with a rack for your bar to put it back on. What you could also do is simply buy a normal bench and use dumbbells, for example. And with a deadlift, obviously, the only thing you need is some mats, which you put on the floor, and that's it. But the squat is very, very difficult to do at home if you don't have the possibility to really rack the bar and have safety bars as well, for the case you collapse under the weight. So yeah, that's simply the education. And now back to the practice. So I did 1 set. Last time I did 8 of them with the same weight. I'm trying to reach 10 sets of 10. Let's see whether this plays out. And don't care about how you look when you snatch the weight. If you're not a professional or a trained weightlifter, this is quite a technical move. Maybe the most technical in the gym. And it's really about manhandling it first, because you're not training your snatch first and foremost, but rather your squat. And this is simply the movement you have to do in order to get it up there. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See how easy it is to put it back on the floor? You really have to come up with ideas, man, because nobody knows how long this crisis is gonna last. So squatting and doing reps in a row is the same like doing deadlifts in a row. It really gets your heart rate up immediately. And the reason I'm incorporating more squats right now than ever before is because I really want to strengthen those legs as much as I can. It's not really so much about the size, because the size in my eyes is already big enough for my thighs, but it's about burning some fat on my thighs and, well, strengthening the muscles. So normally I would have used 35 kg, so 5 kg more than last week, but since I've done a deadlift session yesterday, I think I don't have the power for 5 kgs more on each side, and I wanted to play it safe because my legs are also tired from yesterday. Not as much as they were after the last squatting session, but yeah, still. Okay, here we go for the third one. And the good thing about sports in general, guys, is once you feel tired, in the middle of the day, for example, and you're not really able to concentrate, to focus on anything, but you're also not able to sleep, the best thing you do is do sports and do something that brings your heart rate up, because afterwards you will be able to proceed with everything else you planned for the day. Number 4. Four sets of 10. Okay, number 5. Okay, 5 of 10. And really try to keep your arms locked out as much as possible, because then you get the most out of the exercise. Here we go to number 6. So these are all exercises like the deadlift, like the overhead squat, all exercises. Same with the military press, for example, all exercises you can perform at home. And with the military press, by the way, that's the second thing. You can only do at home if you have a rack or if you modify it a bit. So if you modify the movement a bit. Go and watch one of my previous sports videos where I made a combination between an upright row, then cleaning it, and then pressing it above my head. That's the only way you can perform the military press at home without having a rack. And racks these days cost between $300 to $600, sometimes even more. I've seen squat cages that cost about 1,500 euros even. So it's not something for everybody. Not everybody has the money for it, and it's not needed, it's not necessary. By training these alternative movements, you also get the benefit of training different muscle groups that you would normally not attack that much. Because, let's face it, who does a snatch? So, an upper body pulling movement, and then on the other hand, a lower body pushing movement, the squat, all in once, or all in one. And the same goes for the military press. You're doing a pulling movement, an upper body pulling movement, and an upper body pushing movement. So, as I said, these are the two lifts. You really need to alternate a bit in order for you to make them trainable at home. Set number 7. Now set number 8, come on. My legs already start to burn like fire. So that was my max last week. Let's see whether I can do 2 more. Okay, here we come, set number 9. Okay, one more set. So this would be then 100 squats, guys. 100 squats in one session. Okay, let's finish it. Yes! That's it, guys. Thanks again.